Hello, Dana.
How are you? I can't speak. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you? How's everything going for you?
Apparently, other than having a stroke right now, I'm doing really well.
You are possibly wearing the reverse flash hat right now, so that could explain a lot.
Yes. That's okay. I'll just go back in time and fix it. It'll be fine. So, what's the scoop? Anything new? Got anything new toys to show us?
I do. Brought to you by Big Daddy Target. Right. I'm still annoyed. Don't get me wrong. We're still annoyed at each other, but he's throwing out his trash, and his trash are my treasure. So, first up, Tiger Force Duke. And I think I brought him up on a previous episode, or I did finally get him. But listeners, viewers, if you have a Target near you, and this may possibly be old news, but these are still appearing. They're still getting these in stock. $12. I got him for. So
can't beat that with a big stick.
No, I'd buy that for $12. Next up, same in that same vein, another trooper, $7. So this is I guess my vice from the previous discussion we had about collector quirks. You're seeing it in real time, in full effect. I can't say, and I don't know if I brought this up on that episode. I have a hard time saying no to sales. Like if it's a good sale,
right.
If it's a
troop builder
sale
sales,
like this,
especially troop builders.
Absolutely. And because at normal pricing, these were like $29.99 each. So to get 3 of them would have cost you $60. At this price, you could get 9, maybe 10 for around the same price. And this works in conjunction with my desire to customize things, even if I'm not sure what I'm going to customize them into. So why not get another bazooka for $7 because he's on clearance and they're trying to clear him out before they get the next figures in. I need him. I don't know what I turn him into. I don't know. Turn him into anything.
Crazy hockey player.
Yeah,
with a mustache.
This one's bazooka. Well, I'm thinking of swapping his head out completely. Maybe swapping the head out, painting the toy, because he's got that beefy build. So it'd be cool to have like one of those jacked up troop builders. So you get like your normal pythons, but then he's like the mini boss who's a little more jacked than the other ones.
Right.
So maybe I'll pop his head off and give him a helmeted head instead, or something like that. But sure. Yeah, so those were my finds. Have you come across anything fun?
I did. I was in Target, and of course, me, I'm always jonesing for anything having to do with the '89 Batman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that McFarlane has some vehicles coming out for that, but they're going to be pricey. And then I thought I was buying the Batwing for the Spin Jitsu or the Spin Master 4-inch line, and I end up getting this Mamma Jamma.
That is some assembly required, some disassembly required.
It falls under its own weight. It's so big. I went up and I held this against the moon. Like in the movie when he flies up.
That's awesome.
It's 27 inches across. It's got the landing gear for cool display. Now, I thought I was kidding because the box was deceiving. Now, it said across the box in giant yellow letters, 27 inches wingspan, but I didn't look at it. So that...
because the box is huge.
Right, but I didn't think it was that huge. And it came with this 12-inch guy.
Oh, and you get Batman.
Yeah, so I did get a cool Batman.
Does that Batman get nuts? Does he like to get a little nuts?
That's the first thing he said when I put him in the plane. Want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Yeah, he in that scene he goes full Michael Keaton. He ceased being Bruce Wayne, became Michael Keaton. I love when actors do that.
That is a fantastic get. Now, will that fit the so that Batman figure is 12 inches or so.
Right. Yeah, and he fits in there, but it's more like a luge when he's sitting in there. But the size of that plane is perfect to be displayed with the 6-inch guys. Like display only would be good. Yeah, it'll look cool.
So you can pick up some of the McFarlane 7-inch figures, and they'll fit in there without any issue.
Right, because of course I don't have a lot of Batman figures from McFarlane.
You need more. Now,
Nobody does, right?
is it a two-seater?
No, it's just one, like the 12-inch guy.
Okay.
He kind of lays back in there like he's sipping on gin and juice, and he's just
I love the idea of a low rider Batwing.
right. I'll show you. So, this thing's so big, it opens up. It's got this huge canopy, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take a nap in here."
Ah, it's the Bat coffin.
Right, he lays down in there,
With self-sealing action.
and then he's ready to go.
I love the idea of someone getting an eye full of that in like a plane above the Batwing, and they're like,
Right.
"But how? How is he?"
Right. It's really the Bat tanning bed is really what this is.
He's just laying prone. I got it, Alfred.
He controls it with his eyes. It's really the tanning bed. It's Bruce Wayne's tanning bed. But he has to personalize everything. So I'm going to go through and put that thing on the display. And then, Tom, I've been doing a lot of work down in the display room. Because I was tiering things and putting lights, and I think you posted some of the pictures with the lights on our Instagram, right? And I
on the Twitter account. We actually don't have an Instagram. I should probably get on that at some point.
Yeah, Tom, get on that. Like I don't do anything with that stuff, so I have no room to say anything. And I was going through everything, dusting and putting tiers in like I'm doing to all the shelves and putting lights on. And I came across some stuff. I'm like, why in the wide world of sports did I buy that? Like, there are some things that I was just like, like for instance, Tom, this is in my collection.
You have a troll warrior?
This is the first thing I saw. I was like, why do I have this?
And no, what is happening there?
Oh, there's a ghost.
He-Man killed Nova. What is wrong with you, He-Man?
He's upset, like he wants a shirt.
Wow. There is, I don't know if you could have seen it before, but there's now a gap behind me because He-Man took a swan dive at Nova and murdered her.
Well,
that's like Morg. He's no better than Morg. I apologize. Continue.
Okay. So I've got this guy, and that made me think, like, what else do I actually regret buying? And some of them, there's one or two that actually cost me a penny or two, and I'm like, I could have really done without that now in hindsight. And I was wondering if you have any buyer's remorse toys. And then later on, I want to talk about things that were like a pleasant surprise. Like you were like, maybe I'll pick that up and see what happens.
Oh, okay, good. So, yeah, have we all had this? Man, have I experienced this? So I almost feel kind of bad. I have more remorse stories than I do buyer surprise stories, but I feel like a lot of us kind of have that. There's that realm of, well, this is what I expected, and this is fine. And then so many other times, I don't know, whether it be you've hyped yourself up, or others have hyped it up, or you just weren't paying attention and you get it and you're like, oh, yikes.
Yeah, like that snuck up on you. Like somebody put it in your shopping cart and you weren't ready for it.
Yeah, looking back on it, I think a lot of my buyer's remorse issues come from products that I was interested in, and then I guess even in package they worked out. So as the immediate example, late 90s to early 2000s Todd McFarlane action figures started off so strongly. We talked about this, and I apologize. I know that we pick at Todd McFarlane. I feel like we give him his due, but at the same time, we all know we've all had the stories. I'm gonna have a little
McFarlane little fun today
too. So I feel like that's kind of my starting point, and that's also, I guess it sticks out more because when his stuff started coming into the mainstream, becoming more available, that was when I was starting to have disposable income to spend on things like this. So it hit me a little hard. Like everyone who's a kid can spend your parents' money and be like, I want this, I want this, I want this. And even if it stinks, they buy it for you, you get it. Maybe you're happy, maybe you're not happy. it stinks. But at the end of the day, you can just throw it into the bottom of the toy box. There's not really a big loss for you. When you have your own money, when you've worked for it, and you've made the choice to spend it on this, and then it's not very good, it hits a little harder to me anyway.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
so that would be the case with some of the, again, like late '90s Todd McFarlane stuff. I'm thinking, in particularly, there was like an exo suit, or like a weird armored version of Spawn, where he had a lot of, it looked like
The
he'd been flayed.
orangey one, like the rust orange one.
Oh, it may have been. He had, because the base figure, had that Spawn, I've been flayed alive, with all the sinewy whatnot. Like that was the base figure, and then you
Right.
could clip on these bits of
Oh,
like
yeah, 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 yeah.
bone rocky armor things, and it the concept was solid, and I liked the idea of being able to like armor up your Spawn, but none of the pieces stayed on. And then as soon as I tried to bend the elbow, this was, I think, maybe the first time that I experienced the whole burstable
Plastique.
plastic. uh Moved an arm, and it just crumbled. Like I watched it happen. It bent. I saw the line where the crack happened, and then the rest of it just followed suit. Like the beginning of DuckTales when they're running on that ledge. You see all the bricks falling behind them. That was how the plastic fell apart, and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! What's happening? Why?" And I yeah, you're new to buying stuff, and I'm like, well, I can't take it back. It's broken. And there was
Right.
a comic shop that I got it from. He's not going to take this back. This
Nope.
sucks.
Yeah,
And
that
yet,
stinks.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying that experience stinks. I recently had it with Dungeons and Dragons plastique.
Oh, you told me about that. That's
Yeah,
tell your
and
tell your story.
I complained about that on the show. I've already complained about that. That's not on there. But I'm gonna jump on your McFarlane bandwagon. As cool as it is, right? The Batmobies is something that I feel like I fell victim to.
Hmm.
Like, this is awesome looking,
Hmm.
right? And it's huge and it's impressive, and it was expensive. And
Hmm.
so I didn't even like the story, like the original story. I didn't like it. I was like, Batman becomes a monster truck. All right, like
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
you weren't as big on Dark Knight's medals as I was. I this
No,
was
I mean, eventually he became Gotham. He became Gotham City. Like he was a
yeah.
building. Like I thought the whole thing was ridiculous. And then the truck, it looks awesome. So I
Hmm.
bought it for a pretty good penny. And
Hmm.
now it takes up so much shelf space. I can't sit anybody in it. It's just, and
Oh, that's true. It is
it
just kind of
gets
like a shell.
dusty. It's just, it's useless to me. It just fills up space.
So this,
And every time I see it, I'm like, I spent good money on that.
but the toy itself, the actual like the construction of it and whatnot, like you're fine with that. It's just
Right.
the
Well,
kind of
aside
the
from the fact that I
inconvenience
think
of.
the whole concept is idiotic and it takes up so much space. I was like, I'm like, why? Like a month later, I was like, why did I buy that? There's nothing about that I like the design, but
Mhm.
like conceptually, it's idiotic and it takes up so much space.
All right, so I'm gonna pick one from the good pile. Or wait, do you want to? How do you want to do this? Do you want to go through like all the gripes and then do all the pleasantries, or do you
Yeah,
want to
let's get
switch it
through the
up?
gripes. Let's get through the
Because
gripes and then end
because
on a
I
positive.
fear having too many gripes and that eating up too much of the episode.
All
Unless you
right then.
if you would like to give me like a cutoff point where you're like, all right, enough. That's enough of that.
All right. So quickly,
I'll be
give me
happy
another
to.
gripe. So we'll get through the
All
gripes
right,
quickly. Go ahead.
all right. So NECA, again, early NECA. Um, they when they acquired the Predator license, I was curious. I was interested. I I I I didn't bite on a lot of the earlier figures, the ones that they had done of the original Predator, because they were following so close in McFarlane's footsteps. Not both in the plastic quality and that weird like pre-posed thing that they would do, where they'd stick someone in what just seemed like the most unrealistic, just strange, awkward, like getting ready to throw a discus style posing that no one takes that pose on and holds it, and no one
Right.
wants that unless it's a statue. And I remember them producing Predator figures like that, and I didn't pick them up because why? But then they later started adding a little bit more articulation to them, and I was really curious about them, and they were getting into the Predators from Predator 2, the tribe at the end. And I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, I'm on board for that. Let's give it a shot." And I remember getting, oh, I was it the Viper? No, it wasn't the Viper. But all the Predator fans are upset. I do not remember offhand which one that I got, but it was the same thing. It was the same issue that I had with the earlier McFarlane stuff. And maybe this is just growing pains that a company goes through. But I remember getting them out of the package, pulling them out, and I didn't even get them out of the package before the arm snapped at the elbow. And I was like, why again? Why? Why are they set up like this? And you would feel the plastic, and the plastic felt so brittle. It was
Yeah.
that it was, you know, we all know about the bad fake, maybe like Chinese knockoffs of other figures, and some of them are made with like the shampoo bottle plastics, or they're weird and gummy, and then others, it was like they were made with reformed uh crackers that were melted and then put back together, and you pull them out and they just fall apart. And that was their plastic quality. And I think that we've mentioned this on the show before. It got so bad that retailers, especially online retailers, were telling people, if you buy this,
Right.
we're
They're
not
not going
taking
to take it back.
returns.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
because you know what you're getting. We're still getting grips of this. They had done an Elder Predator from Predator 2, and that was the same issue. And you look it up online, just a lot of people, as soon as you get them out of the package, you try to work out the joints. Even after you heat them up, arms snap right at the elbow joint.
Hmm. Yep. Let's see, another one I regret. In I think it was like 98,
Mhm,
Marvel did like these milestones, like famous cover figures. They were sort of
mhm.
Mego-esque.
I forgot about those.
Yeah, and they're awful. And so like they don't stand up. They've got like these weird rubber boots. They're very Mego-esque. And I bought
Mhm,
them because I felt nostalgic about Mego, right? But
mhm.
I didn't even like Mego when I was a kid. Like I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't like them. And the Doctor Doom looks like, look at the
Aw.
pants. He looks like the kid from Christmas Story when
I
he
was
can't
just gonna
walk.
say, he looks like he's been stuffed into that outfit by mom, and it's like,
Right?
Mom, Doom doesn't want to go outside like
Look,
this.
and his hand doesn't
Aw,
even reach the bottom of the glove. Like,
wow. Oh no.
yeah, like he's just got, it's just like this weird, like the elbow joint, like the decorative one is not actually aligned with the elbow.
Doom
These,
is wearing a windsock of the worst kind.
right? It's like a big onesie. It's a onesie
I
made
like
of,
that. I also like that his hood, it doesn't come to like a smooth swish in the back. It looks like an elf cap.
yeah, it's like Gandalf or someone. Yeah. So that's one of my gripes. These guys, I bought them, and of course I had to get them all. They did
Mhm.
Phoenix and Cyclops, and
What was the
uh,
pricing on those at
oh,
the
when they
time?
first came out, they were, they were sold as the collector,
Mhm.
because this was Toy Biz,
Yeah.
and they had the 5-inch line, so this was supposed to be the collector higher end line. So,
Mhm.
but even then, they were like, 15, $20
Yeah.
pop, and they
That
stink.
that's unfortunate. So, all right, on to my next gripe. We all know how I feel about the Michael Bay Transformers. The first wave of these that came out, like the first toy line that came out to accompany the movie. Uh, I like to try to support the things that I enjoy. We have seen our fair share of terrible horror movies, because I feel this maybe unrealistic need to support the genre, to, in hopes of getting something better later. So even though I wasn't the biggest fan of the the Bay designs, some people are, and that's fine. I am not. Uh, my thought was, I should support the toy line, because they always had multiple toy lines going at the same time. Maybe this will help contribute to a line that I will want to that I will want to buy. Uh, Maybe flawed logic, but that was my thinking at the time.
Hmm.
So I remember purchasing, I don't know, all of them, pretty much. Uh, Pick a Transformer, Optimus Prime. I got that figure. I transformed it, sort of. it was a lot of, you could see that Takara was struggling with turning piles of twisted aluminum foil into a solid robot form. Some of the things that they had to try, some of the weird like fusing of different parts together to even attempt to make it look like first the robot and then this, like Megatron is maybe the worst offender of this. Like movie one,
well, he was the worst offender of it
Megatron
in the movie. Like he looked horrible.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the design.
And so
I was,
those figures look like that.
yeah. Well, they not only did they look like that, or they looked as close to that as they possibly could, but they also had to try to figure out how to turn that from, you know, a shredded metal man into some sort of Cybertronian something, and the method that they had to use to do it was just awful. Like there are some transformers that you could pick up and you can transform them, and it feels good in your hand and it's intuitive and it's great. These were not, and just awful. What a horrible waste of my money. I wound up selling them off almost as fast as I purchased them. They were just terrible, and I was like, why? Why did I do this to myself? What is wrong with me?
Right.
Never again. And then never again became, maybe I should give this one a shot. And
Right. I'm going to run through a couple of my gripes, and then let's get to the positives.
Okay.
In I guess around 2000, I guess there was a toy line called Rising Stars, and they were pretty cool. I think they were like Palisades or someone like that. Anyway, but then they were okay looking figures, like they were nothing great. But then they did a white. They called it like white, Patriot White or something, and they were just like white.
Oh, huh. Oh, so they were going for like prototype almost.
Right.
Oh,
I don't know why
interesting.
Patriot White, but they're like, I don't know why. I have them. I had the original ones, and then because they were part of the line, I had to get the white ones. And like the chain rusted.
Yeah, why is that the only, like everything else is white on there? Is that, oh, is that actual metal?
Yeah, it's actual metal and it rusted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and so I don't know why I got those. The other regrets I have, like I looked at the shelf and I found out that I not only have one, not two, but three different movie Aquaman figures.
How did you wind up with 3 Aquamans?
They're all different because I started buying the movie ones, and they're not even like the higher end ones. And then only because I bought them all because I thought they were cool. And then now I look at them and I'm like, it's the Magic the Gathering guys.
Oh, I have him, except his lower leg snapped at the joint.
Right. Yeah.
So now he's a crippled lion man.
They're like, man, what am I, in Narnia? I don't need this guy.
See, I need all the cat people, but he's a lame cat now, and I don't know what to do with him.
Well, you're gonna have this guy because he's got both legs. You can have him. And I guess then I have to give you the rest of the line too, because then I'll have
no, I just want the cat.
All right, so on to the positive. What was like a pleasant surprise? Like, and we'll try and roll through these a little quicker.
Okay, so I'll give you my favorite one first. When I was younger, and again, I apologize if I've mentioned this on a show before. When I was younger, we're all big into He-Man, Masters of the Universe and whatnot. And I remember the commercial for the Snake Men, and I was so excited, and I was like, "Whoa, what are these? These are new!" And of course, in the commercial, they demonstrate all their powers, and they're like, Rattler with the strike, and Tongue Lasher with the tongue action, and King Hiss splits the skin. And I remember being so drawn to Tongue Lasher and King Hiss, and Rattler I thought was so stupid, because why is that his head pops up? So what? And I was like, what a dumb gimmick. Whatever. And I wound up getting him from, I think one of my aunts. He came in like a small collection of other figures, and I were going through, and I picked him up, and I realized that it was him, and I was like, oh, it's Rattler, holy cow. And I fell in love with him. He's massive. like compared to the other figures, because of the neck strike gimmick, the torso is developed differently. So he didn't have the waist swivel, but he had, like, he was just a monster. He was so like beefy, and he had
Yeah,
regular arms. And I guess the legs were a little bit shorter than the
yeah,
others,
yeah. He kind of had
but it
that,
yeah,
sumo wrestler look.
but it didn't matter because he stood just normally with his head down. He stood so much bigger than the other figures, and I was like, Rattler's a beast. Holy cow, this is great. And then he rattled, and I was like, oh, that's funny. And
That's funny. Yeah.
the actual head strike gimmick made him a more proportionately correct figure. And then he
Mhm.
was even larger than everyone else. And I was like, this is so much cooler than I expected. So because the way that I played with my action figures, everything was wrestling based,
Right.
he was
Right.
immediately the heavyweight champion of like that particular scale. Uh, I didn't care about King Hiss. I eventually got King Hiss. Uh, I didn't really care about him, and I got Tongue Lasher, who was cool, but like I thought he was going to be the cooler figure, and no, it was all about Ratlore when I was younger because he had such a more unique look when I got him in hand.
Nice.
From like the paint to the gimmick to the just again like the size of him was so much more than I thought he was going to be. So he was my, I think maybe like my number one. Just was not expecting anything from him. I thought it was stupid to best figure in the line. I love him.
Right. That's awesome. I am first gonna say my nice surprise was I found this guy,
Oh, I
right?
don't remember the name of the toy line that's from, but I
Redikai,
have
the
yes.
Redikai. And I found this guy laying around.
Mm-hmm,
Like I might have
mm-hmm,
got him in a bin or something, and I thought
mm-hmm.
he was cool. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things where like I saw him in a bin, I'm like, I don't know where he's from, but he's awesome. And
Mm-hmm.
he's from the Redikai line. So then I had to look him up and find the rest of them, of course.
Yes.
And his name is Silverbacks.
Okay.
And so I got the rest.
Yes, there was a larger version of the. I love those little robots.
Yeah, and this
Uh,
alien
mm-hmm.
guy and this guy, like they're just a
Because
great little toy line. And he's got this little battlemetric action and
mm-hmm.
he looks great, like even
Yeah, I
on
love that
his
you can.
knuckles.
I love that you can hunch him over and stand
Yeah,
him upright, and then he looks correct.
yeah, they're just so well done. And it was like one of those card role playing games. But
Yeah.
this line is fascinating to me. And I
Mm-hmm.
loved him. I fell in love with them.
That little robot guy is fantastic. I have a larger, I think he's about 6 or 7 inches. There was a
Yeah.
larger version of him that came out, and the gimmick was that you could press the back, and I think the chest, it either, I think it lit up or it had like a multi LED in it. I don't
Yeah,
remember
yeah. This,
offhand.
if you could look, he's got a hole there, and then the
Yeah,
back, there's a light. Like it looks like the card will go in there.
good callback. Yeah, I remember not like just not really understanding what those were and getting them, and they
Oh,
had
he
just
lights up.
enough.
Look, 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 look. Oh, he just lit.
He's being coy.
Yeah, that was probably. Oh, there we
Yeah,
go.
there we go. Now I'm blind. Awesome.
Like laser. Yeah, but fantastic line. I was so surprised when I looked him up and I found the rest of the line to be so cool, and I had to get
Yeah,
him.
good callback. I had completely forgotten about those, and I have them in storage. So every time I go through whatever particular bin they're in, I'm like, oh yeah, these guys. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that is
have
a
a
good call.
very similar story with the Light Seekers.
Mhm.
Remember that interactive game collection? These guys.
Yes.
I found this guy in a
Mhm,
bin, and he reminded me of the Ninja Turtles
mhm.
Triceratons. And I thought this guy's amazing, and he's
Yeah.
huge, like he's a good size. And then I looked him up, and I found the Light Seekers, which was an interactive game. And these guys, and there's this guy
You know what? I meant to get him. Now, where did you find him?
and this guy is
See,
cool.
that one I remember
And
seeing in Toys R Us, but him and the like pseudo Shredder character, I
yeah,
don't remember seeing those on shelves anywhere. So where did you get a hold of them? Did you find them in a flea market?
I did. I tracked him down in a flea
Okay.
market. Yeah. The robot-y rock guy I
Hmm.
actually found at Milo's Collectibles,
Oh, okay.
Mike and Lori over there
Yes.
in Oakdale.
Hmm.
And then I can't remember, I might have, and then I found this one. She was in the box. I found her at a flea
Okay.
market. And this may have been an eBay purchase, but they're fantastic. And
Okay.
there's the same
Yes.
storyline. I found one and I thought, wow, that guy's cool. I got to see where he's from. And then
Hmm.
the rest of the line, I just fell in love with. It was an awesome surprise.
Yeah, those I remember seeing. I didn't know that those were. I think they were a Kickstarter initially, and seeing like the cool dinosaur
Yeah,
guy. I
and it
remember
wasn't
seeing
long
him
ago. It was
on.
like what, 2017 or something like that, which
I
is long
I think
ago, but not that long ago.
yeah, that sounds about right. Because that was because Toys R Us was still around, and
Yeah,
that was towards the tail end of everyone trying to jump on the
right.
Skylanders
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
bandwagon.
yep. It was that same thing. And the one Mara, I think her name is that Celtic bunny looking thing. I think
Hmm.
she's very Skylander esque.
Yeah.
All
Um,
right, what you got? Well, I've got two more.
you have two more. All right. So I'm thinking, as far as like surprises go, what am I? For me, one of the things is if I'm expecting something to be good, and then I get a hold of it, and somehow it's even better. For me, like to me, that's a surprise. Like I've been looking forward to something for a while, and I think that we've hit the point where maybe I can temper that with, well, maybe it's got some flaws, and maybe it'll be, might not be able to do exactly what I want, but maybe it'll be pretty good. That is the case with. Oh, hold on, I will be right back.
Uh-oh. After these
Where'd you
messages, we'll
go?
be right back. Who'd you grab?
I
What you got?
I apologize for shilling, but Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. Uh,
Yeah, you did stumble upon those,
be,
and
and part of it is because I feel like these put in the work. Jason, I cannot pronounce your last name,
it's
but
BN View or something like that.
yes,
The-
you are much better at pronouncing it than I will ever be, and I am forever apologetic to Jason for that. But it's I myself am not involved with this line. I have done no work for it. I've only contributed to the Kickstarters, and I think that's why I'm not even really surprised, but really, really appreciative of how good these 6-inch figures are. There's like everything was a learning curve. We went through the original toy line, where it was just like the 4-inch figures, and they had their share of issues, but overall they were pretty okay, and there was a learning curve with that, and then they moved on to the Lux figures, and those were also, they were good. They had, maybe a couple of issues, but not that many. And then seeing the line like evolve from that to this, and it's such a great jump in quality, in articulation, in sculpt. The weight for me, the weight was worth it. I remember getting them out and just kind of expecting maybe some things would be off, like maybe like the plastic quality wouldn't feel that great, or maybe the like the soft goods, or I'm not it's not soft goods, but the maybe like the armor, maybe this would be restrictive, and it's not. It allows you to, because one of the things you worry about when you have this kind of design is that it's not going to be able to do what you want because of the way some of the
Mhm.
sculpting goes. We run into that with some of the hair on Marvel Legends.
Yep.
Any of the female characters, are they gonna wind sweep it back, or are they gonna let it just flow in the back? And if you got like the Medusa figure, she can barely stand, and it's not her fault, but that's
It is her
uh,
fault. She can get a haircut.
get rid of. You don't need it, stupid Inhuman. But getting these in hand and then opening them and messing around with it, so great. So much fun. What a nice
Yeah,
surprise. That it actually like lives up to what I was hoping it to live up to, which sometimes for me is an unrealistic standard.
right. I feel that pressure as a friend of yours. I do.
I wait for you to arrive for lunch, and if you don't show up in the proper apparel at the proper time.
I know. I got dress coded at lunch. I didn't even have a superhero shirt on today. I got in trouble. I had a hat though. So I've got two quick ones. One I think maybe you picked up for me a while back.
Oh,
Yeah. Bam.
oh, that's right. I
Bam.
forgot about those. They
Bam.
were.
It's beasts,
Mhm.
aliens, and mech. Bam. That's what they're called. And they're fantastic. They're
'Cause
like
because
11 inches.
yeah,
And
they
there's the
came from Walgreens of all places.
Walgreens, yeah, and I think I saw them at one point at Big Lots. But like the
Mhm.
werewolf guy, he looks like the one from the Batman animated
He
series.
does. Yes.
It's just like a
It's It's very
great.
It's very streamlined. It's very like it's not like overly greeble. There's not uh it's not busy.
Right. And there, if you're a kiddo playing with your 12-inch Titan figures,
Mhm.
like you've got your Batman, right? And he flies in on his Nightwing, and like these guys,
Yeah,
like I mean,
that
he
is.
could. It's perfect. And these guys were what, like $10, right?
Yeah, I think they were only $10, and they were
And
probably going to go on clearance.
right, and they've got the shoulder, the
That is very
arm joint.
impressive to me.
Yeah, and the robot is cool.
Mhm.
And obviously an homage to the aliens.
Yeah,
It's like a predator and an alien had a baby, and which would be frightening. As well, wasn't that frightening
but
actually?
yeah, we got that was
And
yikes.
then other, like, these little, I picked up these True Legends. Like, you could get them at like Walmart. They had them at Toys R Us.
True
I don't know if they
Legends.
True Legends, like these little guys.
Oh, I don't
Like,
remember those.
yeah, like they had a bunch of orcs and trolls, and then they had like a giant, and they came with like a playset. There was like a cave playset, and
Oh,
they were
okay.
very
Those do sound
inexpensive.
familiar.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's kind of like the same guys that make those like army figures, like the
Yes.
corpse.
Mhm.
I don't think these Leonard. I think they were like
Yeah.
Chapme or Chapmay or something,
Mhm.
but they're cool little guys, and they're not very well articulated, but they look cool and they
Yeah,
look
the
great
surprising amount of
standing
detailing
next
on them.
to. Yeah, that's what got me, was the detailing. Like, this guy's got his swords and his
Mhm.
armor, and very very like Warcraft kind of, but they
Mhm.
look great sitting next to some of the old D&D guys.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Standing next to Warduke, the old Warduke,
Mhm.
and the Bullywugs and all
Yeah.
those other little Dungeons and Dragons guys. Like, they're great, like orc fillers. Like, if you had the old orc figure standing in front of them, like and these look
Mhm.
like his thugs. Like, I was really impressed with them, and they were, a couple of bucks.
And you know what? I feel pretty confident in saying I think I would rather have those than those Warcraft figures that came out.
Absolutely. You know why? Because I do have those, and I don't
Oh,
have the
no.
Warcraft figures.
I thought that was going to be another sad tale for,
No,
for all of
almost,
us.
almost. Remember, I told you that I found them at Marshall's for like
Mhm.
$3 a piece, and for $15, I could have had the entire line of figures,
Mhm.
and chose not to.
You are
So,
better off. You are
well,
better off
if I
not
could
getting.
turn down an entire line of figures for $15, they're pretty awful.
I agree. So, all right. So that brings another episode to an end. Ladies and gentlemen, kids of all
Did we even say
ages.
the title in the beginning? We didn't
Did,
say it today.
oh, we didn't. This has been another episode of Two Guys Talking Toys. You get a special today because I'm saying it. If you would like to get a hold of us, if you would like to tell us your encounters with toy lines that were either a buyer's remorse situation or a buyer's surprise, let us know. Get a hold of us on Twitter. Our handle is Two Guys Talking Toys, the number two, no G after the talking. You can also Gmail us at two guys talking toys at gmail.com. Again, the number two, no G after the talking. If you're enjoying the show, if you're liking the episodes, please feel free to subscribe to the episode, like the episode, comment on the episode. If you have an idea that you'd like us to go into, let us know. So thank you for joining us again. We will see you next week. Take care, everybody. Not bad. With
No,
seconds to spare. I
yeah,
completely forgot about the title.
we suck at this.